Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hope you are all well. So today we are going to discuss the 15th problem in the TLE Eliminators CP sheet, 800 rated problems. The problem name is array coloring. Let's get started. Let's first read the problem statement. You are given an array consisting of n integers. Your task is to determine whether it is possible to color all its elements into two colors in such a way that the sum of elements of both colors have the same parity. It's the same parity, not the same sum. Each color has at least one element colored. For example, we are given an example. The sum of blue elements is 6 and the sum of red elements is 18. So 6 and 8, both of them are even, so the parity is same. Now we need to print yes if it's possible to color and no if it's not possible to color. Let's see how to proceed. Let's first see how the parity works. Like suppose we have an even parity. If we add an even element to it, it will still remain even. If we add an odd element to it, it will become odd. Let's suppose we have a 2. If we add 2, it will become 4. If we add a 3, it will become 5. So in an even element, if we add an even element, the answer is also an even element, so the parity remains the same. However, if we add an odd element, then the parity changes for an even element. Now let's suppose the case for odd. If we add an even element, the parity remains odd. If we add an odd element, the parity changes to even. Let's take an example. Suppose for 3 we added 2, that means we get a 5, and we added 3, that means we get a 6. So 3 and 5 have the same parity. That means adding 2 doesn't change the parity, and 3 plus 3 is 6, and this is even, this is odd, so the parity again changes. So we boil down two cases. If the addition is even, then the parity remains same. However, when it is odd, the parity changes. Now the parity changes on both the sides should be equal. Like the odd elements need to be equal on both the sides, then only will the parity be equal for the final sum. Let's suppose we have one odd here and two odds here. So the parity for this would be even and this would be odd. We don't need to consider the even elements since they don't play a part in the parity. So we only need to consider the odd elements. So now the problem boils down to a simple thing. That is, if the number of odd elements is even, then we can always group them in two groups. Otherwise, if it's odd, then we cannot group them. The number of even elements don't matter anymore. So that's all with the explanation part. Let's see a little bit of code. We'll be given an n and we'll be given an input array. We will count the number of odd elements. If this count is even, then we'll print a yes. Otherwise, if it's odd, we will print a no. So that's all in the explanation part. Now let's code it up. So I have my boilerplate code here. We'll be given an n, let's take that as input, and we will have an array of size n. Let's take that as input as well. Of I. Now I will have a variable count of odds. And by iterating over the whole array, I will check if I percentage 2 double equal to 1. That means the element is odd. And I will increase the count. It's plus plus. In the end, I will just check if count of odds percentage 2 double equal to 0. That means we have an even number of elements. Then we will print a yes. Otherwise, we will print a no. Now, one optimization we can do here is, like, the time complexity of this is big O of 2n. Like, we are running a n loop for 2 times. So we can just do the same thing while taking the inputs. So we will move it here and we'll do it here. Now instead of I, it will be ARR of I. So we can get rid of this loop. That improves our time complexity from big O of 2n to big O of n. So let's try the sample test cases now. Answer should be yes, no, yes, yes, no, yes, yes. So yes, So the code runs for the sample test cases. Now let's try to submit it. Paste and submit. So it is running and it got accepted. That means our approach and our solution is correct. Comment down what was your approach for solving the same problem. Also, this is a series for all the problems in the CP sheet. Do check out all the other problems as well. The code would be in the description section. Do check the code. Like the video, subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends. Thank you.